welcome back to Coffee with the Wolves, presented by JJC Athletics. Damian Dennis, and I'm joined this week by Jeff Bailey, our bowling coach.
Yes,
Jeff,
sir. Yes.
how you doing?
Good. It's great to be here.
Yeah,
This is a pretty nice thing here. So it's really nice to be here.
it's great to have you on. You know, unfortunately, it's after your season is concluded, but we've got you on now. We're going to be talking a little bit about that season, recapping it a bit. Both men's and women's team finished fifth place at the national tournament in Lansing. Was it about 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
And actually, that's 2 weeks at the time of recording because this is probably going to come out a week after we're recording this. So,
Okay.
Time loops or something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to ask you a first question real quick. It's not about sports at all.
Okay.
What's your go-to coffee drink?
My go-to, it's usually a Dunkin'. Usually in the mornings, I do a Dunkin' hot coffee with cream and extra sugar. But in the afternoons, I go to a cold brew. So I have this nice concoction of, I do mocha and coconut sweetener. So, and
Okay,
cream
that
and
sounds
sugar.
good.
So, yeah, it tastes like an almond joy.
That
So,
sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of cold brew. Just cold brew or iced coffee in general.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
need any sweetener in it. Just black and cold. I'm good.
Yeah.
Even when it's like -10 out.
Yeah.
My wife thinks I'm crazy because whether we make it at home or pick it up from somewhere, I grab a cold brew. And I once had a barista ask me like, are you sure it's like 20 degrees out? I'm like, yeah, give it to me cold.
Yep. My hot coffee phase goes away after 12 o'clock, and then I'm strictly cold. So yeah. Yep.
Well, now that we got the coffee aspect
Okay.
out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the bowling season,
Yeah.
your teams, men's and women's.
Yes.
And later on in this show, we're going to have Madi Lave on, who is our national champion in
Yes.
singles competition.
Very excited for that.
Yeah, and maybe we could start there.
Okay.
Let's start with Maddie.
Yeah.
She finished in first place. I talked to her, did a story on her, and again, my conversation with her is
Yes.
coming up after my conversation with you here, but I actually talked to her before you.
Yeah.
She said like her season was kind of up and down, kind of throughout the
Yes.
year. She
Yes.
relied on you a lot to help coach her up,
Yeah.
but then get to the national tournament and she just excelled. You had told me you were waiting for her to break through.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. She's a very calm person. And throughout the whole season, we always struggled with always being behind the moves that we needed to make. And bless her heart that she was so understanding. But I had never coached with her before, so we were just kind of understanding each other. But we got along and we clicked quick and got along really great. She would bounce ideas off of me. I would bounce ideas off of her. So for her to come up big in the end, I don't think she's really grabbed onto the idea of being a national champion. It's usually not that structure to be a national champion in that format. So she was kind of taken back by that. So I think as it progresses, she'll understand that she's a national champion. But her confidence level was very good at nationals. She was calm. We worked things through. We worked things out, and things just really clicked. And she just took off from there. Unfortunately, she had a rough last day, but other than that, she was pretty solid all weekend.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about just kind of how that day progressed? Because she had told me twice, in fact, that so throughout the day, she won the national title there. She had no idea what the standings were. The website
Right.
was down. She didn't find out until the next morning when another parent had told her.
Yes.
Were
Yes.
you caught off guard when you found out she had won? Was the team caught off guard, or did you guys have a feeling like, hey, there's a real possibility she earned this title?
I think I was kind of caught off guard. It's very unfortunate that the scoring system wasn't cooperating with the tournament directors, and they had to, verify and re-verify things before they put them out just to keep everybody happy. And I think I went to bed Thursday night, um, at like 11 o'clock, still checking the updates, and there was nothing. So when I woke up the next morning to head to the bowling center, I believe it was Rachel that texted me and asked me if she had won, and I don't know. I haven't seen the standings yet. I just woke up, and sure enough, I looked on the standings, and there she was. So it was again very unfortunate that they couldn't keep up on the scores. I get it. It's technology. It's computers. It's all that stuff. So I understand. But it was very surprising, a very good surprise for sure, that she came out on top.
What was your reaction to her win once you did find out?
Um, Me personally, for my own space, I was ecstatic, proud of her accomplishment. Um, but again, that next day, we were just kind of just trying to get things going to get to the bowling center, so we never really had time to reflect on everything that was going on. Um, but for me personally, I think it was a great accomplishment for her, and very proud of her accomplishment and everything that she did all season long to get to this point. Was very rewarding for her, and I was very proud of that, of
Yeah.
what she achieved.
Now, both the men's and women's team, I believe, finished fifth place overall at
Yes.
nationals. So kind of in each bracket, men's and women's. Uh, just a little bit, kind of recap the season for both sides there, and then that finish.
Um, Again, unfortunately, NJCAA does not have their own division like NCAA. So we compete with other universities throughout the country through the USBC, because that's who pretty much governs all of the events that take place in the country. So we were up against some pretty big major universities, and our very first tournament of the year, we were very successful. We were neck and neck with some of the big schools in our area, and we came into our next event with a very high hopes. And I think we just kind of got taken back by the tournament. Our first tournament wasn't as big as the next tournament we went to. So we kind of got our teeth knocked in and kind of got a wake up call that it's not going to be this easy. So, we rode that roller coaster up and down all season long. Um, and, being a new program, you're kind of getting used to each other as a family and coming together as a group to compete. So we really worked hard on that through the season to get to nationals and be prepared. Um, Getting to nationals, I had very high hopes, and I did not realize the NJCAA was as powerful as it is. There's some pretty good athletes out there that I totally underestimated, and I believe that the NJCAA needs to be put on that level of major universities or colleges, because I think that junior college bowling is pretty competitive, along with the other divisions, NCAA, NAIA, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, um, but all in all, the season I feel was really good. Um, Again, I went into nationals with high expectations, and I'm not upset with the fifth place finish. I would really like to have seen bring home a trophy.
Yeah.
That's what I had mentioned to Mr. Braun, the AD, that I felt very confident with bringing one home. So I was a little, not upset, but would have liked to have got that trophy. But we learned a lot, and learning that much should make us that much stronger for next year. So
How many schools participated in the tournament?
for the NJCAA, I believe there were 18 men's teams and 13 women's teams.
So fifth place finish is still
Yeah, right in the-
top five,
Right.
obviously.
Yeah. Yep. Just a little bit above the men above the middle of the pack, and the girls right near the middle of the pack. So, again, being a first-year program, I think that we put our name out there, and a team that other teams that noticed, and will definitely be on the lookout for us when we come back next year.
And I mean, two fifth place finishes on each side, and then a national champion. You didn't bring home the team trophy, but you did bring home a
Yes.
championship still.
Yes, yeah. and that I think as a coach, you want to be successful, just to make sure that the the administration made a right choice in bringing a coach in, that you should have some type of success in your program to build. And coming in fifth place, I think again that was really good to build on, and bringing in Madi Lave being national champion, I think that sets a pretty good tone for the program.
Yeah. And I don't know where you're at in this process, and I'm sure you can't talk about it too much, but I've got to believe that that finish and then Maddie's championship win help with recruiting.
Oh yeah, yeah. I I have some really exciting things in the works. I can't really say anything right now because we're still talking, but I have three fine young men that I think would be a major benefit to our program. I'm in talks with them right now, and hopefully we can get them on board here. I just signed. I'm ready to submit the information now, but I'm going to sign a girl from. Oh, I just can't think of.
That's fine. You don't
Yeah, but I did sign a top girl in the area.
Yeah.
So we'll get that paperwork rolling. So and then I have another appointment with another girl for a visit. So things are looking up, and unfortunately, a lot of times you kind of have to sit back and wait for some of the other kids that don't get really accepted into a university. Decide that they're going to finish, further education here at Julie Junior College. So, but things are starting to roll, and I think it'll just keep rolling for the next, few months before we get ready for the next school year. So,
Right.
next year is very positive right now.
Cool. Well, hey, Coach, I appreciate you coming on.
Yes,
Congratulations.
it was an honor being here. Thank you.
Congratulations on just the success first
Thank you.
year here.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I look forward to working with you more. Next
Yes,
season.
definitely. Yes. Yeah. Again, things are changing really good here for the campus, for athletes. A wonderful facility that we have here, and building on having better I don't know, social media presence, so that people can see that out there. And, again, I rank Joliet Junior College better than a university or college team because of the campus that they have here. And it's great that we can show that off with social media. So very excited for the future of athletics here at Joliet Junior College.
Cool. Well, Coach, again, thank you for coming on Coffee with the Wolves. Next up, we got Madi Lave.
Yes.
Welcome back to Coffee with the Wolves. Damien Dennis here, joined by JJC's newest national champion, Madi Lave. Maddie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, I think.
I don't know what day it was, but you won the NJCAA Women's Bowling Singles Championship. I know I talked to you via email just a few days ago. You said it hadn't set in yet. Has it set in now that you've won?
I think a little bit. I mean, it's all over the internet, it seems, or at least for me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know I've bugged you a lot over the last few days.
It's
And I just kind of want to talk about that and kind of the season as a whole. I don't have a lot of information about how you guys performed throughout the year. I do know both men's and women's bowling, though. It's first year of the program. Both teams finished in fifth place at the national tournament, and of course, you won the national championship. So just kind of your thoughts on the year in full and where you guys ended up.
I think we ended at a good place, especially, again, since it's our first year. But I think, we've improved so much since the beginning. It was a little rough in the beginning, trying to, get to know each other and figure out things like how the team works and stuff. But I think over the past 6 or 7 months, we figured it out, and I think we're pretty solid.
Yeah. What was it like competing in that tournament? I've never played bowling competitively. I've only ever played it for fun, and even then, it's been a long time. So, what's the competition like in that sort of situation?
Well, there's a couple different ways you can do it. Like, this was a 3-day tournament. So the first day, you had 3 games of doubles. and then you had 3 games of singles after like a little break after you moved, and then Friday was teams day 1 where you bowled um, the 3 games, and then Saturday was the rest of the teams. So Thursday I was kind of paired with someone and we were bowling all day together, and then we were with our teams kind of on Friday and Saturday.
Cool. Now I know you said like the tournament website was down while you were at least the first day, so you had no idea where you stood when it came to. I'm assuming both your doubles competition and the singles competition.
Yeah, we had the banquet later that night on Thursday, and they're like, "Yeah, like the server is down." Like, so I didn't know until I went down the lobby as we were about to leave for day 2, and one of the moms came up and said, "She's like, you won it." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, could you explain that a little bit? Like, so you obviously you didn't know. Another parent, I think you said a parent was the one who told you. You know,
Yeah.
what were you kind of like? What were you doing when they told you, and kind of like what was your reaction?
Everyone was kind of in the lobby already. We were like one of the last ones to get down there, and I literally just walked down, and they're like, "Congratulations!" I'm like, "Congratulations on what?" And they kind of pulled up the scores, and they're like, "You won singles." I was like, "That's kind of crazy because I haven't really won much, so winning that is kind of big for me."
I know I talked to your coach, just the other day for the story I put up on
Yeah.
jjcwolves.com. He said like he's been kind of waiting for you to break out all year. He saw you had the potential, and then what a time for it to break through. What can you say kind of about his guidance and kind of helping you get to like that point?
I think he's always been so helpful, and like my family has known him for quite some time because we bowled against him competitively in high school, and I just know like he's experienced, and I can always rely on him to catch my mistakes like when I miss them, because I'm always the one who tries to force my equipment to work when maybe it's time to try something new. So he's always there to catch those mistakes and try and encourage me to probably move a few boards or throw a different ball.
Now I want to ask, and this is kind of based again upon the story what we've already talked about off camera. But you had mentioned to me your doubles performance. You weren't really feeling it. You switched lanes. And you were feeling it for singles, obviously. You mentioned, just specifically kind of like the lanes weren't working for you the way you wanted. Not being a competitive bowler, only doing it for fun. In fact, being an adult and having played with bumpers as an adult at one point, you know, can you kind of describe what you mean in regards to like, oh, the first lanes I was on, they weren't
Yeah.
what I would like. The new ones, I did great on.
So, in the morning, I was with my stronger ball, and the very first game, like, it was good. It was solid. I had a 207. And then the second game, it all kind of went downhill, and I had a big drop. My ball, it was hooking too much, and it was, just leaving nasty stuff. So, they just broke down really quickly. Usually it takes a few games, but this was, like, right off the bat. So then Jeff encouraged me to try a different ball. So then I spent the third game of doubles trying working with that and finding my line again, and I did, and it looked really well. So then when we moved to another pair, I noticed immediately that my ball was still holding pretty well, and I just had my line, and I just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah.
And kept with it.
When it comes to the singles competition, I don't have them in front of me, but I believe your scores were in game one. It was like 213.
Mhm.
Game two was 197, and then the final game was 223.
Yeah.
And final score 633.
Mhm.
Can you kind of explain each game for me, and specifically, and again, this is a question I've already technically asked you, but kind of that dip in score in that middle game.
Yeah, so the first game it went pretty well, even for moving to a new lane. Usually that's kind of scary, but it went pretty well. I was striking, left a few spares, but I was able to pick them up. And the second game it was just lousy spares I missed on my part, but then I was able to get it back together for the third game and stay strong.
Now, having won this championship and the teams both kind of performing so well, what does it mean for you as a representative of Joliet Junior College athletics?
I think it's kind of an honor, to be doing this and be one of the first people, especially for the program and for the school, to do it. Again, it's still kind of crazy. I haven't really processed it that's what's happened, but I think it's really cool and it's really awesome.
Where do do you think you can go from here? How can you grow, having already found success at this level, but you're also only a freshman? You know, you've got time left to continue growing.
Yeah. So after graduating high school, I wasn't planning on bowling, but then I heard Jeff was doing it, and I've known him such a great guy, so I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot, and we'll do it. So I mean, I still definitely have room for improvement. I'm nowhere near perfect or 100% consistent, but there's always room for improvement. So I think I am gonna stick with it, and I plan on staying here at JJC for the program since they have such a great ultrasound program, and I'm really looking forward to that. So I think just keep practicing, and I can always move up from there.
Yeah, and you mentioned the ultrasound program. I did want to ask, just for the people who may be watching, what is your major?
I'm majoring in medical sonography, so I plan on becoming an ultrasound tech in the future.
Cool. Uh, I had another question and it escaped my. Actually, no, I remember it now. So you mentioned you've known Jeff for a few years.
Yes.
I don't know how long, but I had asked you the other day, kind of how long you've been bowling. Could you kind of tell us a little bit about how you got started in the sport?
Yeah, so we had a family friend whose daughter was in bowling, and we heard she really liked it. So then my dad kind of dragged me and my older brother to the bowling alley to sign us up for a league, and I remember we were not happy about it at first. But we kept doing that for a few years, and I was the one to stick with it. So I'm the only one who bowls right now. But I took some private lessons from a few different coaches, kept up with the Saturday mornings, and then once I got to high school, I found out my school had a really great team, and I would love to be a part of it. So I tried out and made it freshman year, and I bowled all 4 years with Lockport, and we were lucky to win 2 state championships my last 2 years. So that was really exciting.
Great. Well, Maddie, congratulations on the win. I know you've probably got class or work or something here coming up, so I'm not going to keep you any longer. Again, congratulations. Join us next time for Coffee with the Wolves.